It's time to take you through this week in Nicholls Athletics as we bring you the best of Colonel sports from Nicholls State University. This week in Nicholls Athletics is presented by State Farm Insurance. Contact your local State Farm agent today and get to a better state with State Farm Insurance.
Good morning and welcome to This Week in Nicholls Athletics presented by State Farm Insurance. I'm your host, Mike Wagenheim. Coming up in today's program, we'll tell you about a package deal of sorts for the men's basketball team, and we celebrate the start of baseball season. Right now, let's take a look at the week that was in Nicholls hoops. The men's basketball team entered last weekend hungry for a home win against Texas State in order to climb within the top 8 of the Southland Conference. Let's bring you the action at Stouffer Gym. The Bobcats snag an early lead, but the Colonels get it kicking. Dantrell Thomas misses a three, but Jeremy Smith with the offensive board, clearing it back out. Shane Rillier from beyond the arc, and Shane was just getting started. 5 minutes in, Texas State down one. Von Jones on the dribble drive, kicks to Travis Jones. He hits it from downtown, wound up with 19 points. 7 lead changes in the first 10 minutes of this one. Texas State frustrated the Colonels early with some pressure, but Nicholls breaks it clinically here. Trevon Lewis slams it home. We're tied at 13. Under 8 to go in the half now. Colonels trying to find the seam here in the Texas State zone defense. Trevon Lewis hitting the cutting Dantrell Thomas for the layup, 28-22 Nicholls. Colonels built up a 13-point lead until Wesley Davis gets into the paint and dishes out to Brooks Ybarra for the 3-ball. Ybarra made 4 shots from downtown. That sparked a 12-0 Texas State run. Von Jones had 4 steals. He strips Rillier here. Travis Jones cashes in, and the lead is down to 1 less than 2 minutes before halftime. But the Colonels restart the engine. Lewis snags a rebound. Nicholls sharp in transition. Macbeth takes the pass from Brian Hammond and finishes. Hammond had 6 assists in this one. Now Macbeth on the defensive end rejecting Davis. The Colonels played unselfishly in this one. 20 assists on their 32 field goals. Thomas would be the beneficiary here, collecting 2 more points. It's 42-35 Nicholls going into the break. Early second half. Here at Stouffer Gym, Macbeth launches, can't connect, but Lyndon Smith-Hyde keeps it alive, setting up Rillier for another bonus ball. Shane was 4-4 from the outside. Nicholls begins a half on a 10-0 run. DT working inside and out. Smith-Hyde gets in the ball on the reversal. The step-back 3. Thomas was 10 of 13 from the field, finishing with 22 points. Dantrell off the mark here, but he chases a rebound down and takes flight. Nicholls up 20 at the 11-minute mark. This one all but done. This time Hammond with the helper. Thomas with the helper over to Hammond. He was 1 of 4 Colonels in double figures. Texas State never threatened in the second half. Nicholls shot 62% from the field and set a new season high in points. They win it going away 96-75. On to Stephen F. Austin on Wednesday night. We knew this would be a defensive struggle going in. The Lumberjacks are the only team in America that has yet to surrender 70 points in a game. Here's the action from Johnson Coliseum. Opening minute, DT taking his man baseline, kicks out for a Macbeth 3, and the Colonels strike first. SFA works it low to Taylor Scott, dishing out to the top for a Desmond Heyman bonus ball. We're tied up at 5. Hal Bateman driving here, draws a defense, and shovels to Smith for the throwdown, 7-5 SFA. Lewis on the dribble drive, the kick out for Rillier. He knocks down the step-back 3, 17 points for Shane. Nicholls up as many as 6. Colonels forcing the Lumberjacks to shoot from the outside, and Antonio Bostic connects. He scored 17 as well. Colonels now trailing. Macbeth feeding DT, goes off the square. Thomas a rebound short of a double-double. Nicholls down 3 at the break. Second half, Lumberjacks in transition. Darius Gardner with a perfect outlet to Gerald Scott. Nicholls, though, limited him to 9 points. SFA with a spurt. Jacks go high-low. Colonels double down and late closing out here as Bostic hits the J. Nicholls down by 9 with 16 minutes left. Sterling Banley on the perimeter, giving it up to Smith. The drive and the 8-foot jumper, and it's back to a 2-possession game. But SFA scores the next 6 points. Bostic pushes it up the floor, penetrates and finds Heyman for the layup. The deficit is a dozen with less than 9 minutes to go. Colonels rally and score the next 9. Rillier with the assisted DT in the corner, 3-ball and a timeout. Under 7 minutes to go, we got ourselves a 5-point game. Less than 3 to go now, down 4. Smith across the paint to Lewis, and the kiss coming up here. Colonels get a stop, and then Macbeth controlling. Hands off to DT, who gets the friendly bounce. Another timeout. We're tied at 49 in the final minute. Now, 2 free throws gave Scott the lead again for SFA. Macbeth finding Lewis here, and the reverse layup knots it up at 51 with 5 seconds left in regulation. SFA would get off a heave here, but we are headed to overtime. Halfway through, Nicholls trailing by 2 here. Macbeth, taking his time on the wing, decides to pull the trigger. He drains it. Sam scored 13. Nicholls is up 1, but they fall behind by 2. Final seconds. Colonels probably can't last another 5 minutes, so they go for the win, putting it in Thomas's hands. It's just off the mark. SFA converts their free throws. 62-58 the final. Nicholls falling to 7-16 overall, 3-8 in league play. They sit in 9th place right now and will host Lamar at 1 this afternoon. Well, the Colonel women's basketball team is making their mark in the Southland Conference this season. Last Saturday served as a statement game that this team is for real. Let's take it to the Strahan Coliseum in San Marcos, Texas, as Nicholls face the West Division leading Bobcats. Opening 2 minutes, Diamond Ford misses a 3 in transition, but the Bobcats demi-clinch with the offensive board, the putback and foul. Nicholls fell behind by 7. They cut the deficit to 2 here on the bonus ball from KK Babin. She scored 23 points. Midway through the first half, Bobcats go on a little run. The steal by Kaylin Martin, 2-on-1, and the dish to Ford. She contributed 23 points as well, and the Colonel deficit back to 7. Summer Leslie up the floor, pulls up for the 15-footer. Summer with a 29-point effort. It's 22-18 Bobcats. Under 4 minutes to go in the half, Babin feeds Alicia Allen. Good ball fake and the pivot. Knocks it down. Allen scored career point number 1,000 in this one. Late first half, Leslie breaking down Jasmine Bogus off the dribble. Despite just 1 3-pointer in the first 20 minutes, Nicholls goes into the break down just 4. Colonels tie it up 3 minutes after halftime as Allen cans it from 16 out. Nicholls would grab their first lead at the 12-20 mark, but Kelsey Krupa goes baseline and gets the leaner to fall. We're square at 54. The lead would change hands 4 times over the next 7+ minutes. Leslie distributing to Jasmine Hoskins. She hits a 3 from the wing. Colonels up 3 with about 4 minutes to go, and Nicholls would not relinquish that advantage. 83-74 the final. Nicholls shot 63% in the second half and knock off the West Division leaders on the road. On to Wednesday night at Stouffer Gym in Thibodaux, the Colonels hosted Stephen F. Austin. The Lady Jacks have dominated this series, winning 35 of 38 all-time, but Nicholls picked up the win last season. Early action here in this one. Stephen F. Austin with the lead. Jenny Nash for Nicholls along the right side. Up top to Leslie. The dribble penetration. Stopping and popping. She's on her way to yet another 20-point performance. SFA runs off the next 6. As the Colonels work it down to Leanne McCarthy on the block, and they get it going early. Nicholls up 10-7. Courtney Conright pushing it ahead to Tamara Marion. Bonus ball here. Marion hits 6 of them. Lady Jacks out in front 13-10. KK Babin replying. Allen and Babin on the perimeter. KK launches and connects. She hit 4 from beyond the arc. We're tied at 15. 7 minutes to go in the half. Off the Annette Davis rebound. Brittany Matthew ahead to Tyranny Henderson. She cans it from the baseline. SFA up by 3. They would finish the half strongly. Marion avoids Leslie, spins twice, and drains the floater. Lady Jacks up by 7 at the break. They pad that advantage coming out of the locker room. Skip pass here from Ashley Mells to Marion. She's left open and makes Nicholls pay. Marion scored a game-high 22. But the Colonels started comeback. Leslie picking the pocket of Davis out on the break. No one will catch her. 18 minutes remain. Nicholls down by 7. Babin driving here. Wheeling and dealing to Allen. She connects. And the deficit, folks, is down to 4 with 15:30 to play. Now, Allen gets it out of the trap here. Portia Washington sets up Leslie at the top of the key. 43-41 Lady Jacks. Then with 12:25 to go, Leslie 2 feet behind the arc with a hand in her face. Still catches nothing but net. Nicholls on top 46-45. 6 lead changes over the next 9 minutes. Babin dealing to McCarthy on the pick and pop. She toes the 3-point line, connecting on the 19-footer. Nicholls up 2 with under 3 minutes to go. Final 2 minutes now. The entry pass from Mells to Davis. The Colonels play her one-on-one, and she takes it up strong. SFA up 61-60. Last minute, Colonels tied it on an Allen free throw. Then SFA with the lob inside to Davis. Colonels surround her, but she's still able to muscle it up. Nicholls down 2. SFA forcing a shot clock violation coming up out of the timeout, so we're down to 5 seconds. But Babin steals the inbounds pass, flips it to Nash. She hadn't scored all night, and she banks it on home here, 64-63 Colonels. Nicholls can't quite celebrate yet as they head into the timeout here. They still have to get one last stop on the Lady Jacks to preserve the victory. SFA would have one final chance. Marion racing it up the floor, finds a little bit of space, heaves the runner at the buzzer, but it will not fall. With the win, Nicholls improves to 13-10 on the season, 6-4 in conference play. The Colonels have matched their highest win total since a 1998-99 campaign and are one win away from tying the program record for victories in a single season. They'll visit Lamar this afternoon. We're going to talk more hoops and baseball coming up. You're tuned in to This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance.
There goes Dwayne's car. There goes Dwayne's house. And there goes Dwayne.
Man, that thing does not like Dwayne.
State Farm's got you covered.
In Lockport, call Ashley Barrios. And in Houma, call Travis Gravois.
Get to a better state.
Welcome back to This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance. Philip Boudreau has a story of Rennie and Sterling Bailey, father and son off the court, but teacher and student on it.
In 2010, men's basketball coach Rennie Bailey returned for a second stint at Nicholls. Not as the inexperienced coach he was the first time, but as one of the most well-respected coaches in the South. And this time, he didn't come alone.
After a stellar playing career at Louisiana Tech, Bailey entered the coaching profession. After starting as an assistant at Nicholls in 1988, he returned to his alma mater 2 years later. Since then, Bailey has helped guide a number of championship-caliber programs around the South. When a coaching position at Nicholls became available again, Rennie jumped at the opportunity and took on the responsibility of recruiting. He'd wind up adding a very familiar face on the roster, his oldest son, Sterling.
Well, after accepting the job, Sterling was still available. He had gotten a couple of looks, but no one had really offered him a college scholarship. So in accepting the job, of course, I was going to talk to JP about Sterling. And I knew from watching Nicholls play the previous times that I had watched that the system requires skilled guys that can shoot the basketball, and one of Sterling's best traits is shooting. And knowing that I was able to sell JP on Sterling getting a scholarship here because he could shoot the basketball.
Sterling had always desired to play for his father, making his decision to attend Nicholls a no-brainer. He would find his freshman year to be a learning experience.
Night and day, college basketball is a lot more physical, games faster, and I guess it's a lot tougher. It's more of a man's game, I guess. Yeah, and I redshirted last year because it took a while for me to make the adjustment to being a college player, but I found it a lot more competitive. It's a lot more fun than high school.
Coach Bailey took note of his son's early struggles, but more recent successes have the elder Bailey seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for Sterling.
When I think back to his freshman year, which he was redshirted, there was little growth that I could see. But coming into the 2011-2012 year, I see significant growth and maturity. And honestly, Sterling has to get better on the defensive end, in which there has been improvement there with him. You know, if he continued to make progress in learning the system, the 5-out, in which I think he's a lot more comfortable now than he was in August with our 5-out offense, I think the future will be bright for Sterling.
Sterling's progress, combined with a number of frontline injuries to teammates, presented Sterling with the opportunity for increased playing time. He knew his mission and has come through for the Colonels.
Just to defend and try not to give up points from the guy I was guarding, and I just took open shots. And my teammates set me up, had open shots, and I just knocked them down. So I wasn't really too much concerned about scoring, just guarding the ball, and the rest just happened. And personally, I just want to help the team. I guess whatever that is, making hustle plays, scoring, whatever coach needs me to do, just to get on the floor and just help us win, be a successful team.
The Baileys have come to realize not only are they playing the roles of father and son, but also of coach and player, giving their relationship a new dynamic.
Well, I guess the biggest difference is knowing when to take one hat off and put on the other. When I'm here in this office or in the building, it's like I always have my coaching cap on, Coach Bailey. And I've had to work hard really at taking my cap off and being his dad as opposed to being the coach. He always looks at me as dad anyway. He'll come in the office and say, "Hey, Dad," and that's good for him. I want to always be his dad. I've always wanted to coach Sterling, and this allows me the opportunity to coach him. And he's managed that very well because I am a little bit harder on him than I am some of the other players. The expectations are the same, but they go a little bit higher within the inner parts of me because Sterling is my son.
It has its ups and downs, but I know whenever I'm doing something wrong, I'll know. He'll let me know, so I don't have to worry about that. But it keeps me sharp though, because he's not going to accept anything less than what he thinks I'm capable of, and probably expects a little bit more than what I'm capable of. But it keeps me sharp, and he's always a great guide because I know I can trust him. He taught me basically everything I know, and some of my teammates, when they see him messing around out on the court, tell me I look just like my dad. They say I got a kind of old school game.
While the Baileys grow accustomed to the added dimension in their relationship, they both agree they will be stronger for the experience, not just as coach and player, but also as father and son. For This Week in Nicholls Athletics, I'm Philip Boudreau.
Thanks a lot, Philip. When we come back on This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance, we'll head out to the Diamond with some Colonel legends. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
There goes Dwayne's car. There goes Dwayne's house. And there goes Dwayne.
Man, that thing does not like Dwayne.
State Farm's got you covered.
In Thibodaux, call Mike Bednards. And in Houma, call Mark Anderpont.
Get to a better state.
Present and future of Nicholls baseball converged last Saturday. It was a day to commemorate the proud history of the program, reflect on its current state, and to look forward to a promising tomorrow.
The Old Timers game led off a doubleheader exhibition at DDA Field. Many players from the greatest eras of Colonel baseball took to the field to relive their glory days. Then, more recent graduates took on the 2012 edition of the team in the alumni game. The events provided a golden chance for members of the Colonel family to reconnect. Former All-American Bobby Taylor and Hall of Fame coach Mike Knight took advantage of the opportunity.
It's great fun, and I'm looking around. I think there's maybe one or two of us are the oldest ones here. So next year we got to try and get some of the ones a little older than me over here and all like that. But it's great seeing everybody, and it's real. Like I said before, it's a good turnout. It's good talking to them.
Well, the big thing is that it's really you really get proud of seeing guys that you knew where they were at 18 years old, and you look at them now and how old they are, but to see where they've come in life.
Reuniting with old friends also gave these former Colonels a chance to ruminate on their time in a Nicholls uniform. Former outfielder Chris Morrow, the Southland Conference leader in stolen bases in 2009, was an All-Star as a Tampa Bay Rays minor leaguer in 2010. That same year, Clint Dempster pitched the Colonels to their first postseason win in 12 years. He is now working his way up the ladder in the Minnesota Twins organization. They recall their favorite moments of their collegiate career.
I think one of my best memories of here was a walk-off I had here. We were playing Southern University, and it was ninth inning. We were down by, it was a tie game, and Stephen Gote was on first, and I hit a first pitch ball off the 360 sign in right center, and he scored. And I was so excited when I rounded second because we won the game.
I had a lot of memories, but probably the best one was playing Southeastern, our rival, at home with 16 strikeouts in one game and just enjoying the game.
A vivid trip down memory lane reminded these Colonel legends why they remain close to the program. Pitcher Mike Moeller, who spent 9 seasons in the big leagues, and 7-year Major League veteran Scott Sanders, a first-round draft pick of San Diego in 1990, remember their time here fondly and are eager to see the baseball program return to prominence.
Staying involved, I read the paper every day to see if Nicholls won. I'm always, everybody's LSU this, LSU that. I'm always Nicholls this, Nicholls that, and I want the program to get back to where it was before. It seems like our crew that we had here was real close-knit, and I stay in touch with a lot of them still.
Actually, my father coached basketball here when I moved to Thibodeau when I was 1. My father was a basketball coach. I grew up on this campus, and I moved back from California about 5-6 years ago, and missed a lot of good times around here when I was living in California. So I love Coach Seth Tibb, all the guys, all the players. I've been a Colonel all my life.
While the day's early events presented fans with a unique chance to watch past and present Colonels compete, Saturday night's first pitch banquet gave the community its first opportunity to meet the 2012 Colonels up close. The sold-out celebration, which included a silent auction, drew 375 members of the Colonel baseball family. Head coach Seth Thibodeau brought in legendary college basketball coach Dale Brown to serve as the event's headliner.
Kind of been a fan of Dale Brown and really appreciated what he did, and it's just a really good motivator. He's got some great stories and recruited some really good basketball teams and coached some really good players. So I wanted him to be able to share a story with my guys tonight.
Brown, the subject of the recent award-winning film Man in the Glass, The Dale Brown Story, said that his uncomplicated message transcends basketball, baseball, or any other sport.
It's simple. It has nothing to do with the sport. It has to do with the human being. That basketball, baseball, football, track, soccer, that's insignificant. It's what human beings have to do. And my goal tonight is to try to convince people they got the right, this little Seth Thibodeau is the right guy. Now, to get him some help, for example, J.P. Piper walked into the LSU arena last year and beat LSU. The budget, and why did he do it? Because people raised a little bit of money for him, went and got a few players in Australia. That's what Seth Thibodeau is going to go to Dominican Republic and do the same for Nicholls State. I'm going to talk about something very simple. The simplicity in what I'm going to talk about is not being practiced like it should be. We're all in this together. In other words, the best potential of me is we, and about giving back to the community. So I'm talking just generally, if you're going to have success of any kind, you've got to unite and pull together. So basically the speech is, we're all in this together.
As the steward of a program with a rich heritage, Thibodeau is pleased that so many came together to celebrate Colonel baseball.
Today's event, it was an awesome day. We had a little fear that we might get some bad weather throughout the day, but we got everything we needed out of today. Just a really good chance for us to get together with our alumni players. We had 87 former players back on campus with us today. It was a chance for our players to see some old players. It was a perfect day, an A+ day for Nicholls baseball.
This year's first pitch banquet had its largest turnout ever and raised about $19,000 for the program. Now Colonel fans young and old look forward to the start of the 2012 season, which is less than a week away. For This Week in Nicholls Athletics, I'm Philip Boudreau.
Thank you very much, Philip. Nicholls opening up their season this coming Friday with a 3-game series at Southern Miss. The 2012 home opener is set for Tuesday night, February 21st against Southern. We'll be back with more in a moment.
There goes Dwayne's car. There goes Dwayne's house. And there goes Dwayne.
Man, that thing does not like the wing.
State Farm's got you covered.
In Thibodaux, call Jude Guidry. And in Homa, call Darrell Brew.
Get to a better state.
Welcome back to This Week in Nicholls Athletics, presented by State Farm Insurance. A reminder, the Nicholls men's basketball team playing host to Lamar this afternoon, 1 o'clock start time for that one. Tickets for all upcoming Nicholls basketball and baseball games, as well as softball, can be reserved in advance. Give us a call at 985-448-4790 or log on to Ticketmaster.com. For all the information you need to follow any of the Colonel teams throughout the season, log on to our official website any time of day, GEAUX, GoColonels.com. You can find every piece of information you could possibly need right there to follow the Colonels throughout the season. For Philip Boudreau, Ashley Bull, Zach Carlton, and our crew, I'm Mike Wagenheim. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week. Take care.
Today's show has been brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Contact your local State Farm agent today and get to a better state with State Farm Insurance. This has been a presentation of the Colonel Sports Network.